Hey guys, so it's real talk time. I'm breaking my own rule here. Usually I try not to talk about things that I haven't talked to an advisor or talked out like completely with God. And I really felt like I was supposed to talk about this, and I really felt like the timing was now. And I keep trying to connect with my mentors and my counselor, and it just hasn't happened. So this is either going to be a really vulnerable and really awesome real talk, or this is going to be a very messy, and I don't know. We're just going to let God lead it. And I'm just going to stay true to being open, vulnerable, and real. And not trying to control it and not trying to look a better way than I am. And so I want to talk to you guys about hope. And I would tell you that I've been struggling with hope my entire life, to be honest. But I really have been focusing on joy and hope. This has really been a big focus this year. And then it's really been a big focus the last few years. And in fact, I do this notebook every year, and it has a different thing. And a few years ago, right after COVID, I did a notebook about hope and what that looks like. And I, at the time frame, very much was a believer in don't get too excited, because once it doesn't happen, then it's not going to hurt as much. And God was telling me, like, this is not a good way to live, because you're going to focus on what you believe. And so if you believe not good things are going to happen, then not the good things are going to happen, because you're going to be focused on those things. And I remember thinking, but I don't want to have the letdown. And so around that time, I've been praying for many years, and this promise came walking in, and it just seemed like everything was going to work out like it should. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. We're so excited. Like, right, 13 years of praying, guys. 13 years of praying. And God had told me he was going to do it. And everyone was so excited. And I was just like, dude, wait, just wait. Just wait. Too good. It ain't going to happen. Let me tell you, something bad's going to happen, because I don't believe that I can actually have hope that this is going to be good. And for 3 months, this happened. And about 2 weeks away from what I call like devastation moment, where it feels like there was a split in my life. It feels like there was like before this and after this. Okay, like I feel like my life completely was reborn and changed after this moment. I finally was like, you know what? I'm kind of believing this is gonna happen. I'm getting excited. Like, this is great. I'm so excited. And it all fell apart. And this is where the book comes from. This is where my 3 years of just completely walking down a really hard path came, because I felt so let down. Like, I had hope, God, and you let me down, is how I felt. It felt cruel, and it felt awful. And in the beginning stages during this time, I was like, God, I will be your slave. Like, I will be your slave. I'll do what you want me to. I'll obey you. Like, I will do these things, right? But I don't want to be your daughter. Like, I don't want to have hope. I don't want to feel any of these things. Like, I don't like it. I was so hurt. Like, I was so broken, because in my perspective, this felt like the first time I'd ever had hope, and I was completely let down. And it destroyed me, guys. Like, it destroyed me. And I was angry. And I kept asking the question that I didn't feel like I got really good answers for, which is, how do I move forward in my faith when it feels like God is the one who let me down? And people would give me all these Christian answers, and that's fine. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes that's all we can give, but it wasn't enough for me in this season. Like, no, like, you guys don't get it. Like, I prayed for faith. I had hope, and it was totally destroyed. And so I started to walk in this journey, and it just seemed like I would just keep getting like a little bit further. And I really thought I was in a good place to go. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm in a great place. Like, I'm surrendered to you, God. I believe you. Like, you can do whatever you want. Not my will, but your will is done. And like, I was in this great place, y'all. I was in this great place. And I went on this redeeming and repairing trip to Tucson, Arizona, to go see my old pastor, and to go to the women's ministry there. And I just knew that God was going to show up, y'all. And I'm on the spiritual high, right? Like, I'm like, I am, like, God is giving me this word, and I know it's going to happen. I'm excited. And me and my mom had gone on a trip a few years ago to see Joyce Myers, and I thought that was going to be the redeeming and repairing trip. And it was, in a sense, but it didn't look like how I thought it was going to look like. Like, there was a lot of stuff that God brought up in that trip, and we just weren't ready to fully heal. But God propelled and started a big thing in this trip. So I was like, dude, God is going to heal. He's going to repair. He's going to do these great things. Like, I believe and I have hope that he's going to do it. And we get there, and me and my mom are getting along great. But I go to see all these people that I have prayed for years and have seen for years. And like, I'm so excited for what God is doing in their life. And a lot of the things that I've prayed for, like it's in full for which, like I can see it, right? Like, I'm like, dude, these are the things that I prayed for years. Like, I've prayed like over them when their kids were sick, and I knew that God was going to bring them through it. Or like, right? Like these, I'm seeing God's actual fulfillment happening here. And instead of joy, I felt this overwhelming sensation of hopelessness. Not because I was mad at them, not that I was even jealous, but because I'm going, God, I've been so faithful. And I'm seeing like their whole lives. Like, I'm seeing everything that we prayed for together. I prayed for them behind closed doors. Like, I'm seeing them living in it. And I feel like you've forgotten me. I feel like you're not seeing me in this moment. And I became so bitter, guys. I became so hopeless. I became so hard-hearted in this moment. And I kept trying to choose God in it. And I just was like, okay, God, like, I don't understand. Like, I've worked so hard for the last 3 years, and I thought I was in this great place, but here I am again, so hopeless. And so I went and I just chose God. Like, I just kept choosing God, but my heart was still a little bit hard. And, you know, I've been struggling with some weight gain. I have a lot of stress. Like, there's a lot going on in my life. And I just don't feel like I'm as beautiful as I used to be. I'm looking at my legs and seeing cellulitis. Like, I'm looking at me going, who would even want me? Like, God, like, what the heck? Like, and I know these are lies, guys. I'm telling you guys this because I just want you to understand sometimes that we all feel this way. And I'm sitting here and I've lost it. Like, I've become hard. My heart's become hard. And I go to sit at Pastor Tim's sermon, and he just preaches this beautiful message out of Hebrews 11, where he talks about contentment and hope. And not being content is what propels you to change your life, and so that you can find this hope, right? And I was like sitting there just like, dude, this is everything I need to hear right now. Like, I need to hear that because I'm looking at me and my mom, and like this miracle happened with my mom and me where she was able to say like, dude, this hurt. Like, this journey we were on hurt. But like, it is good because God showed me my identity in it, right? Like, and I'm sitting here going, dude, we were so not content. Like, this situation that happened where I lost my hope and I literally had to go through this whole thing. I love you too, bro and sis. Sorry. Shook up our lives, right? And before this, guys, I was content. I was content in my sin. I was content living not hopeless, like without hope. I was vacationing. I was living my life like completely content, not really knowing God to the full extent. I was completely content living a life hopeless because I could fill it with all these other things, but I was dying inside. I didn't even know it. And in this moment, when God brought his promise to me, and I had been praying for it, and I could see it coming, and I realized even when it was happening, I was not content because I was so scared of hope. I was so scared of hope. And that I just did not know how to accept it. And I was miserable even in the middle of it, in the middle of the promise. And God was like, dude, I need to separate you guys. I need to separate this because like you cannot put hope in the wrong thing. And in this, like it started to be like in my family line and everything we were doing and my friends, like I could see the situation brought something out where we realized we were not content. And where was our hope? And God started to really push, right? He started to push this. And so here I am, and I'm now sitting 3 years later at my pastor's church, waiting, my old pastor's church, right? Waiting for this redemption moment, waiting for knowing that God's going to do something. And I am bitter and I am angry. And I'm like, you just don't love me. And why did I have hope in you? Like these things that are going through my head. And I know they're lies, guys. I'm not saying I didn't know they're lies. I knew they're lies. But I was still in pain. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of this sermon, when Tim is talking about hope and contentment and how, like, God took Enoch and how, like, the faith of that, right? Like, all this stuff, right? I hear God in the midst of it go, Rachel, have you surrendered hope to me? No? I don't want to hear that, God. Because it's hard for me to surrender hope to you. Because I'll let my circumstances determine when I will and will not hope. And if this isn't happening in my life, then I'm not going to have hope. And I'm going to shut that down. But here's God saying, wait a minute. I need you to surrender it to me. Right? Because faith, and Tim talked about this in the sermon, right? Faith literally is hope, right? Hope is in the definition of faith. Believing in things hoped for. That cannot be seen. Okay? I might not have it word for word, but that's the gist of it. And I prayed right before, the last prayer that I said, right before my promise left, was this. God, I want more faith. And I was trying to do it without hope. And you can't. It's literally in the definition. They literally, like, it's literally, if you want faith, you have to have hope. And so I'm processing this because I'm going, God, I thought I was there. I thought I was surrendered. I thought that I said, not my will, but your will be done. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what I'm missing. Like, I feel like I keep searching for hope, and I clearly don't understand what that is. And I'm clearly putting it in the wrong thing. I'm clearly not putting hope in the right thing because here I am, and I'm letting my circumstances determine how I'm going to feel. And I'm talking to a friend, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what hope is. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what am I supposed to be doing right now? Because I thought I was there, but I'm not. Clearly I'm not. And clearly I'm still trying to control it. Clearly I'm still trying to decide whether I'm going to shut my heart down, numb out, or do these things. And it's crazy to me because I'm sitting in the car driving home with my mom, and we're having this conversation, and God is just unpacking these things, and we are realizing that we had not been seeing things all the way correctly. And she starts to say something that I've been praying for 3 years. And I'm realizing it's a miracle. I'm realizing that God is doing this in her heart. I'm realizing God is answering his prayer. And guys, instead of joy and excitement, I felt fear and insecurity because I said, oh no, does this mean I have to hope again? Because God, I don't think I can do it. Like I've already tried. And every time it happens, like I get so torn up when it doesn't happen the way I think it should happen. And when it doesn't happen the way I think it should happen, like I go through this cycle again, and I don't want to cycle. Like I can't go back there. And God just kept saying, but what are you putting your hope in? Rachel, what are you putting your hope in? And so I'm going to go back to the scriptures, and this is a scripture people use a lot. I've been talking to God. Hope deferred makes a heart sick. And I've heard that people have been praying for me, and they're like, God, like hope deferred for Rachel, that's making her heart sick. But I was thinking about that when I was driving home today. If God is hope, if Jesus is hope, he is never deferred because he's the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. So my hope should never be deferred because if Jesus is my hope, he is never deferred. And so my heart should not be sick. My heart should be joyful and glad and happy. So where's my hope? What am I putting in? What does it look like? And the other scripture people use a lot is delight in God, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And God told me this years ago. If you're delighting in me, I am your desire of your heart. And I will never not be given. I will always be given. I will always be there. So these scriptures, sometimes I think we kind of manipulate them a little bit. And I'm thinking about that. Like, my hope is not deferred, y'all, because God is my hope. But I'm not there yet. Like, I'm still struggling. Like, where is my hope? I was so touched when Toby Mac lost his son. And I watched that man, even through the pain and the hurt and the loss of a son that I've basically grew up listening to. And his music and the album before that, he was released a song where he was praying over his son. And I was so impressed when Toby Mac was not shaken. When I watched Toby Mac get up there, even after such great loss, I'm sure he probably had hope that God wanted to save his son. But his son died. And in a very public platform, Toby Mac rose. And I was just like, what kind of faith is this? How could you have that much hope in a God when it feels so disappointing? Like Stephen was getting stoned to death and he still had hope, y'all. He still prayed for the people that were stoning him. What kind of hope is that? Because I'm telling you right now, I still struggle with that. Because my circumstances keep determining whether I'm going to hope or if I'm going to have faith. And see, I kept saying I have faith. People will tell me I have strong faith. And I remember in the beginning of this journey just being like, I am obedient, I'm obedient, I'm obedient. And then John just gave a sermon, my pastor here now, gave a sermon on this, about joy and putting on backpacks and trying to get to the end results. But we have all this striving and strife and all these things. And then we don't really feel joy because we're burning out, trying to do these things. And then we just think that we need happiness and we're sinning. And I'm like, yo, that's me right here, yo, right? That's me. But how? What's the solution? How do I get from this? Somebody tell me how I can have hope in Jesus. And I know that's true. But to me, those are words sometimes. Sometimes I don't quite heart connect with that. And I'm still struggling because my circumstances still determine whether I'm going to have hope or not. But Toby Mac, I'm not saying that he didn't go through a period of pain and questioning with God, but his hope remained in God. His hope was Jesus. That's how he could lose his son and still have hope and not turn away and walk away. Same thing with Stephen. He could lose his life, y'all. And his hope was Jesus. And he didn't turn away. And so I'm sitting here today and I'm still struggling with this. But I know that I can't be content in living a life full of pain and living a life without hope. Because that means I'm not having faith. And just because I'm obedient doesn't mean I have faith. Being obedient just means it's my own will trying to follow God versus having the faith and the hope to follow God. And I don't want to just be obedient. I don't want to just say to you guys, like, God, Jesus is our hope and that's it. Like, he is, and I know that. I have seen it in my life, guys. I've seen it in my life over and over and over again. And some parts of my life I have so much hope and I have belief and have faith and I know God's going to do what God says he's going to do. But there's some parts of my life that I'm still struggling. Now let circumstances become my hope. The truth of it is getting married, having kids, getting money, this, that is not going to be something that's going to sustain your hope. There's so many people who get married and for 2 years they feel great, but then their hope is gone because it was never, ever in the right place. Their hope was in the marriage or the relationship or their kids or their job. And you see so many Christians walking away today because their hope is deferred. And their hope is deferred and their heart is sick. But that's because their hope was in the wrong thing. Their hope was in a circumstance. Their hope was in that thing. And God keeps calling out and he's saying, listen, I am the desire of your heart. I am the relationship. I am these things. And if you can find that and believe it, and stay on that, then your hope will never be deferred and your heart will not be sick. I'm not saying you won't mourn. I'm not saying they're not going to hurt. I'm not saying these things. I'm just saying we cannot control hope. We have to surrender. We can't keep numbing out every time something hurts or happens, or choose in this area not to surrender to God, or to choose that the pain and the hurt and unforgiveness is going to dictate who we will become in these situations. I'm not there yet, guys. I don't know what it looks like. And I was telling God that. Like I'm praying every day. I'm inviting you, God, into this. Because I don't know if I know what hope looks like, and I don't know if I have it in the right thing. I thought I did, but I'm still struggling. I'm still hurt. I still think that you are not giving me something, but you've given me everything when you died on that cross. You've given me everything in who you are in the relationship that we have. So I'm going to meet you in relationship. I don't have a tangible thing. I'm addicted to knowledge, guys. I don't have a tangible thing here. All I can tell you is that I am reaching out for God's hand. And I'm walking in relationship with him. And I'm asking him to reveal his character to me in this way. And I have hope and I have belief that he's going to do it. Because he's done it before. And he loves to reveal his character. He loves to reveal this to me. So I'm just praying and meeting him every day. Until one day I'm going to come on here and I'm going to tell you guys, I found it. I know what hope is. Right? I'm feeling it's tangible. It's real to me. I have real faith. I'm really standing on the rock of Jesus Christ. Like I am there, and my circumstances don't determine who or when I have hope. It doesn't determine whether I get to believe God is good or not. It doesn't determine whether I continue or I stop in the faith, because my hope is completely in Jesus and the personhood and the relationship. And I was talking to God on the way home, and he gave me this beautiful picture. My family, I don't know if my brother's still on or not. My family, for a few years, went through a pretty hardship. And there was times that we hurt each other. There's times that I hurt them, they hurt me. There's times that we cried. There was times that we were angry. There was times that, we didn't say nice things. There was times that we didn't know if we were going to be able to get it all together. And those were really hard years for me. I was already going through a hard year. I was already going through pain. And I remember thinking, God, I don't know how you're going to fix this. I don't know what it's going to look like. But God told me today, because I was like, but I'm never going to lose hope that this family loves each other and we stick together like glue. And we are going to get through this. Like I had that hope throughout the entire time. I'm not telling you I didn't have pain. I'm not telling you I didn't feel those things, but I knew. And I was like, God, you were the glue that held that family together. You were the glue. Each and every one of us kept seeking you. And in that, you held us together. That hope was you in that relationship. That hope was you. And we have gone through some years, but we kept pressing into Jesus. We kept building into Jesus. And my mom and me, we will tell you to this day, that is what built our identity on Christ. And we are so grateful for it. It was tough and it was hard. And I'll tell you right now, I could have never told you with an expectation what that should look like. I could have never guessed what it was going to look like. I couldn't tell you. All I could tell you was this. Jesus, you gave me this family. We love each other. And we want to stand on the rock that is you. And so my hope is that you will put this family back together. And I'll look at this family today, on Sunday, in the addition of my sister-in-law. And she's so beautiful, and I love her. She has changed this family. And the way that marriage happened and everything, I would have told you, I don't know if this is you, right? I would have told you, oh my gosh, it's happening fast or whatever, right? It didn't look like maybe we typically think, okay? But God brought in such a beautiful, 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 beautiful woman. And she's changed this family. She's been like a little glue that's put us together. And when I came, on this Mother's Day, we had so much fun. And I saw characters of my dad that I've never seen before, that I've been praying for. It was so much fun. And I looked at this family and I said, look what God has done. Look what God has done. It is so beautiful. And it's so amazing. And there's so much love and there's so much joy and there's so much happiness. If you would have looked at my family 3 years ago, you would never know that this was possible. This is what hope is. It's not the circumstances in which things look like. It is what God can do. And if I continue to have an expectation of what hope should look like, I don't think I'm going to get there. Because I could never expect what God did in my family. And it's beautiful. It is literally, you guys want to hear a redemption story that's so beautiful. My family is it. And it's amazing. But it's because we trusted God in the entire process. So I don't know, guys. 3 years ago, I couldn't have hope in that area, but look what God has done. And he always does it. So, is your heart sick today because your hope isn't in the right thing? And guys, I've been there. I'm there. I'm working on it. I'm right in the middle of it. I want to be like Toby Mac. I want to be like Stephen. I want to be like my family. We have so much hope in who God is. We have the faith that is real, that's on the real thing, which is hope. Not our obedience, not our wills, not our self-control, but on Jesus. I want to be content in that because he is my hope. All I can say is I'm praying for you guys. If you're in a situation where you're struggling with this too, hopefully I'm not the only one over here. Hopefully some of this resonates with you guys. But make sure we're surrendering hope. Maybe we all need to do it together. Maybe some of you have done it. So if you have done it, you have an answer, you can help me walk me through it. Please do. But I do have a feeling it's going to be between me and God and walking through with my mentors, and it's a relationship thing. It's a choice thing. But any advice I will take. And I mean, I think a lot of us can sit here today and say, like, I can look at other people's lives and say, I have hope for them. I know God's going to do it. I'm excited for what he's doing in their life. But the pain in my own life keeps me sometimes from having hope. But that's the wrong thing to have hope in, guys. It's the wrong circumstance. And knowledge is the wrong thing to have hope in. And wisdom is the wrong thing to have hope in. Jesus is the only thing to have hope in. And with him, and when I have my hope 100% in him, my circumstances don't get to define me. But I must surrender when I have hope and be willing to face that and to feel that and to walk through it. And so I'm praying for you. I love you. Like I said, guys, if you have any comments, if you're going through the same thing, if you have anything that can help walk through this, I mean, I'd love to hear it, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who tries to control hope and has a hard time surrendering it. And who sometimes feels like my heart is sick. But I'm desperately, desperately, desperately waiting for Jesus to give me what I already know that he's given me, and to see it and to walk through it with him, and to completely go hand in hand, knowing that I will have a hope that will last forever, which will help my faith, and my circumstances no longer get determined. Love you. Talk to you guys later.